Yeah, I put my dad in the street against a heavyweight.
I've gone back to the dad. I've punched him a few more
There's
times.
5 blokes outside my front door. Can you come and help
One
me?
hell of a fucking story, so stay tuned.
This is Colm McGuigan for FLTV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm joined today by Ebanie Bridges. Ebanie, how's things?
Yes, very good. Nice day down here in Essex. Nice good Monday.
I know it beats Australia, definitely. So we'll get straight to it. Massive fight at the weekend. AJ
Yeah.
Usyk. Break that down for me. What did you make of it?
It was good to see that Anthony Joshua tried something different. He came out looking very different, a very different style. But I still feel like he looked a bit novice-y in that style, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I could see what he was trying to do with the high guard and the head movement and stuff like that. But I feel like he still looks quite a bit stiff and I was getting frustrated. I was like yelling at the screen. I'm like, just fucking let your hands go. Like he's slipping, and it's like that's great, but you got to punch off it. You know what I mean? And it was great to make, like, he was making him miss quite a bit, catching a lot on his gloves, but just no counters. And I feel like that's what he really needed to do. He had some good middle rounds, where he looked like he really hurt Usyk. But yeah, I just felt like he looked a bit like the style it's new. It feels like it's new to him, and he looked a bit novice with it, if that makes sense. Like it didn't really look like a natural style for him. But it doesn't mean that he's not going to get better on it. It's the first time I think he's really tried that particular, like style. Like he wasn't really using his jab at all, just walking in like the high guard. I just feel like if he maybe even just put his jab out a little bit more, or like throw a hook off his slips, like, because by the time he was trying to counter, like Usyk was just getting away, and I feel like towards the end he was kind of just standing there a bit like when he was getting hit, a bit like a stunned mullet, like, like he was like those last few rounds.
What do you think he could have done differently in order to beat Usyk?
I feel like he just needed to have confidence in his fitness and the training that he's done and let his hands go. Like he got a punch, man. Like I just don't think he was I don't expect him to do like fucking combos like, little Mexicans and stuff like that. But he just really needed to punch off his movement, like or off his catches. He's letting Usyk get off way too much. Without countering, and Usyk is quite comfortable sitting there for a bit, punching and then coming back in and punching because he's not getting countered, and then when he does move, it's too late for Joshua to kind of get it, like counter him. He just needs to be faster with it, and it was those rounds when he was letting his hands go that he was hurting Usyk, and it's like I don't obviously know his camp, but I feel like Joshua is like a high paid, heavyweight athlete. You think he'd have all the best around him, all the whatever, and training all the time, like, trying to dedicate to training, that he's fit. Like he should be fit, so let your hands go. Like, yeah, and then obviously he's little speech, which, your emotions after a fight, that's, you can't help it. I get that. But I mean, some things like saying, I didn't really get the whole, I'm not a 12-round fighter, I'm 18 stone, but it's like, you should be fit. Like, I don't know.
Do you think his team should have saved him from that at the end?
Saved him? Oh, from the speech thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
from the speech.
Yeah. Look, I don't know. Like I've got his team telling him he's winning those first few rounds. He wasn't winning. Like even that, like weird. Like he had yes man with his last coaches, and now he's got yes man again. Like I don't get it. Like, yeah, I don't get it.
Obviously,
mind you, he did better. He did much better. He wasn't getting hit as much, especially in the first half of the fight. He was catching a lot. He was slipping a lot. Wasn't getting hit nowhere near as much, but he just wasn't capitalizing on it. You know what I mean?
We've heard Johnny Nelson say that possibly he should retire. Do you feel that he should retire after this, or do you think there's still a chance that he could get back into contention again down the line?
I don't think he should retire. Like I just don't think he's that level. I don't think he's at Usyk. Usyk's had over 300 freaking amateur fights, and he's a pound for pound best. Like just because you don't beat the pound for pound doesn't mean that you need to fucking retire. There's still some great fights out there for him. Yeah, I think he's just been not thrown in a deep end. He's a prize fighter. You know, he's done a lot for boxing, for heavyweight boxing. He got heavyweight boxing exciting again after the whole Klitschko, that kind of era, which was a little bit boring. You know what I mean? So he's done a lot for the sport. I don't think he needs to retire. Do you know what? I was watching it and I was like there, and I'm thinking he doesn't have any. It's like he doesn't have any kill in him. He doesn't look like a savage. Like it was just like he was kind of tapping the punches and like just like fucking, I don't know, like it didn't look like he wanted to hurt him or kill him. And
Yeah,
I just think heavyweight boxing, like, look what Chisora did. Like, you just gotta fucking try and kill him. I was screaming so much. Like,
yeah,
I was with Kel and I'm screaming. I'm going, he's not gonna take me anywhere to boxing again. I'm sitting there. I'm like, come on, you fucking let your hands go. You fucking cunt. Like, what are you doing? Like, I was getting frustrated because as a, someone watching and like we can all be watching, going like, you got to do this, you got to do that. That's what you do. But yeah, I don't know. And then when you give Usyk momentum, like you're gonna give him momentum. Like those last few rounds, give him momentum, and kind of when he was getting hit, he was looking stunned. He's frustrated because he's getting hit, and he just stands there in front, stops moving his head, and just like, okay, yeah, you hit me. Yep, everyone, just let you know he hit me. I think he just shows that a little bit too much as well. I mean,
if
I don't know.
if we're also looking, we're possibly going to get Usyk Fury next year. How do you think that would
Yeah,
go?
I think Fury can beat Usyk. I think Fury just his IQ and his game plan, his strength and power, and just his savageness. You know, the way he's really dirty and he can use his weight. He's just like a bit trickier, and slick, and like he's got more. He's got more cunt in him. I think. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think that's what you need with Usyk.
What can we expect next for Ebony Bridges? I know this has been the $1 million question. Your podcast is out with Coogan tonight. You've been flat out talking about this. You don't like talking about it, but can you give us any sort of indication?
Yeah, I mean, I'm meant to be fighting September apparently. Like, but there's no September fights have not been announced yet, so I don't know what's going to happen there or if they're going to get announced. I'm preparing that I'm going to fight. I actually don't know who I'm fighting, and that's a little bit frustrating. I think so. I'm just waiting on Eddie and Matchroom, and hopefully we come through something good because you know, like I'm fighting for a world title, a first defense, you know, 10 round fight. I think you know, I want to obviously I'm going to keep my belts. I want to keep my belts, but to give me 2 weeks notice or 3 weeks notice to who I'm fighting, I think I deserve a little bit better than that. So we'll see. We'll see. And I don't
Definitely.
want to keep dragging, and I don't want to keep dragging it out the camp either. I came over here. I rushed over here from Australia, you know, at home, packed up my home, rushed over here because I thought I was fighting in fucking summer. Summer's over, pretty much. And now what's happening is your camp's dragging out, and then you start getting like overtraining, or you know, you're peaking at the wrong time. So it's just there's a lot that goes to it, obviously, to come in on fight night and be in your peak performance. So I'm just hoping we get some news soon. I really want some news. For me and the fans, you know, everyone, people want to see Bomber bash pictures again. I don't want to bash
Definitely.
pictures.
Obviously, just before I let you go, Ebony, you're a massive boxing fan, next to obviously being such a good boxer yourself, but you love the sport. You engross yourself in it. A massive
Yeah,
fight announced last week. Ben Eubank Jr. What's your thoughts on that?
this is hard because like the Ben family are like I'm close to the Ben family, so obviously I'm going to be a little bit biased where like, and I can honestly admit that like I really want Connor to win, and I think that he can. I just feel like the only thing I feel like they're both at kind of the same level. Like, I don't think Eubank's much more skilled than or more experienced than Connor. I think they're both around the same kind of level, different styles, but I think at that same kind of level. So I think it's an even fight skill wise, but Eubank is bigger, you know. So I think depending on how he does his cut and he handles getting down that dropping down that little bit more, and how he handles with the rehydration clause and all that, I think size could be an issue. But I've also seen Ben fucking hurt grown men when he was fucking 17 and shit. So like he's a big puncher as well, you know. He's aggressive and he's like proper, like you know. And I think he's getting better every time he fights. He gets better and he exceeds all our expectations and he keeps proving people wrong. So yeah, I think he can definitely come out on top, and I'd like him to.
The way
Yeah,
you're analysing these fights, could we see you on the zone as an analyst sometime soon, you think?
I hope so. That'd be fucking cool. I mean, I obviously have done the commentary and stuff. I'm just working and doing the commentary, and That's something I'd love to do, you know, in the future, and also anything to do with talking boxing, because I'm a bit obsessed. But I should do it on myself, like just my own podcast talking, because then no one else can talk. So I don't let anyone talk.
Well, Ebony, thanks a million for joining me today. Really, really appreciate your time, and I'm sure we'll do this again soon when you finally have your fight announced. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. All good. Thanks, Colm. Cheers.
Yeah, I put my dad in the street against a heavyweight.
I've gone back to the dad. I've punched him a few more
There's 5
times.
blokes outside my front door. Can you come and help
One
me?
hell of a fucking story, so stay tuned.
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.